Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be a haunted house slash ghost story because it is Halloween, so happy Halloween. So I figured to go along with I would share with you the story of the haunted houses I've lived in throughout the years, as well as the encounters with some of the ghosts that I have had in these homes. First of all, I don't want to say psychic because I don't think it's psychic. It's more of an empath thing. I can see spirits. I can hear them. Sometimes I can actually talk to them, but most of the time I can see them and they can talk to me, but we don't usually, it's not like we hold conversations. And no, I am not crazy. It runs in the family. I have a cousin, I believe it is, who is psychic. I have a few aunts who have the ability as well. And I have a younger cousin who has the ability. So if you're not into that stuff, just click out now because I don't want the nasty comments. I'm going to start with the first house I lived in. I lived in this house for 14 years. My dad bought it when he was starting out, so yeah. And we have moved 4 or 5 times since then. And that's not including the time that I lived on my own. So, the first house, that's actually where I discovered that I was psychic and I had the ability to actually see ghosts and talk to them and they could talk to me. And I saw my great-grandpa when I was little, when I was like 3 or 4. He had just passed. It wasn't long after he had passed away that I saw him. I don't really remember seeing him. It's more or less everybody telling me I saw him. But I have seen my other great-grandpa that I never met since then. So, yeah. But the first house I lived in, like I said, we lived there for 14 years. It was built, I don't know, I had a friend in high school who bought the house after we moved out a few years later. I don't think he owns it anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure on that. But from what I can understand through research I've done and the research he has done, that somebody had killed themselves in the attic. So I'm figuring that's who haunted that house. That house was just creepy anyway. Because it had a cistern. It wasn't city water originally. We'd lived there I was 7 years old by the time city water went through there, I think. So we had a cistern. And then after city water went through, my dad knocked down the wall leading to the cistern and made that a storage space. And I'm telling you, it got worse. At least I think that's I don't really remember I just remember after that wall was gone and we had that storage space, hell broke loose in the house. The house was creepy. I think more or less that was just, I don't know if that house was actually haunted by the guy who killed himself or if that's actually even true. I think it was more or less the land. And then the house was just creepy. I don't think what was there was actually going to hurt anybody. I think that whoever was there in that house wasn't meant to hurt people. They were just there. And then the second house, I don't know, well, back to the first house, you would hear creaking on the stairs. Sometimes you would hear, the cat wants to help.
She's like, I lived there too for a year and I don't think it was haunted.
I think there was mice. You think there were mice? But yeah, you'd pretty much hear the normal old house things. The creaking on the stairs, the doors creaking at night. That was the thing. I swear to God, most of the time there was somebody in the attic. The noises you would hear, just the noises you would hear in that attic. I swear to God, the house was not haunted. There's something was in that attic. But I do remember a few times seeing a guy in the woods behind the house. The way it was, you had the house and the woods was kind of like next to it and then behind it. And yeah, the woods went on, I think the majority of the road had that in the backyard. Except for the people who had built back farther. But I remember a few times seeing, there was a guy in the woods in the back of the yard, and then there was a guy in the woods in the side yard once. And he was in the woods. He wasn't, well, he was kind of on the edge of it. He wasn't in the yard, but it wouldn't have taken him much to get into the yard if he was real. So that's where I'm going with, I swear to God, I think that house wasn't really the house. I think it was just the property. No, that is the second most haunted house we've lived in. The second place we lived in was an apartment. I don't really remember the apartment being haunted, but I remember seeing stuff there. But then again, as a psychic or an empath or whatever you want to call it, they sense me if they need something and they can just come to me. And yes, I can block it out for the most part. I had people visit while I was there, but I don't think they were actually attached to the apartment. The third house we lived in, creepy as fuck. Yeah, I'm saying it, I don't care. Because it was a subdivision. I had never lived in a subdivision before. Before that, the apartment was the closest thing I'd ever lived to in considered a subdivision. Oh my God, I hate subdivisions. I'm just not a people person. But I don't know if that was from the neighbors being odd. Because let me tell you, the neighbor looked like Fred frickin' Flintstone. The only thing he was missing was the pet dinosaur. I don't know. I think a lot of the spirits that we had in that house were from him. Well, then again, you live that long, you're probably bound to be haunted. Okay, back to seriousness, even though, I swear to God, the guy was Fred Flintstone. Fred Flintstone. And if he wasn't Fred, he was Barney. But other than that, he did some weird shit that I swear to God could conjure up a few things. But that house, it wasn't really the house. Again, I'm pretty sure it was the property or the other people around bringing in spirits. I heard a lot of weird shit around there. Saw a lot of weird shit around there too. There were a few times I saw a guy on the stairs. He wasn't there long. He was there. He was gone. Honestly, I think that house is where I had the least activity of anywhere I've ever lived. Okay, and we lived at my grandma's house for a small period of time in between that last house and this house, and I'm going to talk about my grandma's house at the end because it's a long story. But the place I lived in on my own, never once saw anybody, never once heard anything. Okay, so yeah, when I was living alone, other than the people that are attached to me and family, I never really saw anything. And you'd think that living in an apartment, there would be some creepy noises and shit. but everything that there was could have been explained away by the neighbor. And it's so funny because I believe in this stuff and I see this stuff and I hear it, but yet I'm one of those people that I have to explain it away as much as possible before I say yes, that in fact is a spirit. Because I'm sorry, if I'm not dealing with your dead ass unless I absolutely have to. Because I'm just, no. But this house that I'm living in now, my parents have been here for 8 years. Minus a small little stint where I lived by myself. I've been here for almost 8 years. So about 7, maybe 6. Yeah, 6. Because I lived with my grandma's my senior year of high school. Okay, but here, I know for a fact that there is a little boy ghost in the basement. We don't know what his name is. We don't know why he's here. But he lives in the basement. He does not come upstairs. Don't know why. My mom calls him Henry, I'm pretty sure. It's either Henry or Charlie. One of those. Pretty sure it's Henry though. And then there's an adult ghost here too. And over the last 6 months, he has started coming upstairs. And he comes up the stairs. He stands at the doorway between the stairs and the kitchen. And he walks down the hall. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything other than walk up the stairs and down the hall. Once he walks down the hall, you don't see him again. Preferably, if you ask me, I prefer him live in the basement and stay there. But I know for a fact he does not like my dad. Technically, I don't think the little boy likes my dad either. But I think that's because he's a non-believer. I think if you just acknowledge their presence for a little bit, even if you just say hi to them every now and then, they'll leave you alone. At least that's my experience. But then sometimes all they want is to be acknowledged, and they'll leave you alone. Like one of the spirits that follows me around, and apparently I don't know if he's my guardian spirit or if he's just somebody who's there. Apparently he is a guardian spirit. He's constantly with me on my shoulder. All I know is he's tall, thin, dressed in black. I've never seen his face. And if you ask me, I want it to be Lincoln. Because I'm creepy as hell. I think if it was Abraham Lincoln, that would be the most awesome thing in the world. But if it is Abraham Lincoln, I just want to have a conversation with the man. So, yeah. We're getting off topic, though. We're getting into my hopes and dreams of this ghost that's constantly with me. I do have him. This ghost is constantly with me. I don't care that he's constantly with me. He doesn't do anything. And then I have another spirit with me. I call him Casper. Yes, I know his real name. I prefer to call him Casper. And from what I can understand, he's a dead firefighter. Because the first time I saw him, he was in full gear. Scared the living piss out of me. Because I'm a firefighter, so my first thought was, oh shit, one of the guys that I like is dead. Even though in all reality, it's probably not going to be one of the guys that I actually like that comes and sees me. It's going to be one of the guys that I absolutely cannot stand that wants to torture me because he tortured me in life. But honestly, the guy that I call Casper, who's a firefighter. But yeah, as I was saying, the guy that I call Casper, I swear to God, he likes to dance on the roof. That's how I know he's around. If he's not in my front yard somewhere or not with me somewhere, he's either somewhere else where I don't know where he goes. I'm guessing he either goes back to heaven or wherever he is at. I'm figuring he's probably in heaven. If he's not, he's in limbo when he can travel between. I don't know. And sometimes he's not with me, sometimes he is. But with this being said, he has scared my mother a few times. I was working one night, and this is at the time I was working at a place an hour and a half to 2 hours away, depending on which way you went. So I am 2 hours away from my mom. She works nights, she's getting ready for work. She walks out of the bathroom, and there's a firefighter standing in front of her. She thought it was me. And it doesn't help that when I got the call from her going, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're okay. I just saw a firefighter in the basement." We just got back from a structure fire. So, yeah. I don't appreciate that he likes to scare people, especially my mother. Especially not while I'm at work. And no, I've never seen him at work, but I have seen my guardian spirit at work. Especially the first fire department I worked at. My first real fire department job, I saw him quite a bit. And then I started to understand why when I realized that most of them were out to get me. My guardian spirit was there to protect me and make sure they couldn't hurt me. I no longer work there. But the only two that I see on a somewhat regular basis are my guardian spirit and the firefighter. And as I'm speaking to this, he's on the roof because the wind is not blowing and our house is brick. Okay, so that's it for the ghost story. I'm going to move on to my grandparents' house, and I saved this for last because this is probably going to be the longest part of this video. My grandpa built the house in 78, 79, so the house is about 40 years old. Yes, Roxy. And his mom lived next door until 2010 when she passed away. And with that being said, I have never seen her spirit. I have seen her husband, and I believe he passed away in 81, so I never met him. But I have seen him. And when I say I've seen him, I don't mean like he's in his World War II uniform, which is really weird because they say they die and you go back to your happiest places or your happiest times in life. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I'm guessing it's true because I've seen him in his World War II uniform. I've never seen him in anything else. That's how he shows himself. He usually stands over next to my great-grandma's house. Closest he's ever been to my grandpa's house, to me, is the end of the shrubs next to the swing that I sat on. And I knew he was there. I felt something, and I turned around, and there he stood. Creeped me out. And there are other people there as well. There's a spirit of I don't know if she's a bride or not, but she's in a long white dress, and she stands in the driveway, and there's a groom, I guess he's the groom. If they're, I just know he's in a black suit and she's in a white dress. I don't know if they're bride and groom or whatever it is. I'd say they're about late 20s, mid 30s at the latest. And they stand in the driveway and they argue with each other. There are other spirits there as well. There are 4 people in the basement. They know for a fact. I don't know their names. I know there's at least one woman, and there are 3 males. I think there are 3 males. There may be 2 females and 2 males. I'm not sure. But I know there's at least one woman. And the men talk. They constantly talk. But certain times of the night, certain times of the day, they get louder. And you can hear them more clearly. And the creepiest thing I've ever heard is kill. After I heard kill, I got out of that house. I was done for that day. I hid outside for the rest of the day. Because they stay in the basement. And based off research, that I don't know if they're family or not, because I do know that my grandpa's uncle had a house not far from where the house that my grandpa built stands. So I don't know if one of them is him or not. I don't know if we're related to these people or not. I just know there are 4 people in the basement of my grandparents' house, and it's creepy. And they talk. And when I heard kill, I was done. And they do play with, I used to listen to my radio when I was outside. I plugged it in, put the radio on the swing, and press play. So I used to plug in my radio, and I'd press play on CDs, and I would listen to a few songs, and if I needed to go in the house or go do something, I would press pause. And I always pressed pause. I even questioned myself a few times. Did I actually press stop? Did I press skip too many times and it'd go back to the first song or something? There would be a few times where I would go in, walk outside, hit play again, and it would start over from the first song. Or there were a few times where I would be on the 3rd song, and I would come out and press play, and it would be on the 6th. It was always on 3 and 6. I don't know why. Unless I was on the 4th song. If I was on the 4th song, it would always go back to number 1. And yes, I did question myself a few times. And now I found that, now that I listen to my Kindle, they can actually mess with that too. And I can be in the middle of a song, and the song skip to the next one. Or I could skip to a song, and then it skipped to the next one after that song. I have tested this theory several times at other houses. When I'm out places, it does not do that unless I am at my grandparents'. So I'm figuring it's the spirits that are there. And in regards to the spirits that are there, the ones that are attached to the property, I don't mind. The ones that are in the basement, I prefer they stay in the basement and don't come upstairs. But this is the newest development on that. I went downstairs the other day, got something out of the fridge, walked back up the stairs, and as I was walking up the stairs, it sounded like another set of footprints following me up the stairs, and they were boots, and they were heavy. And I did have boots on that. No. Yeah, I was wearing tennis shoes that day. I never heard it before, and they were thick, big boots, like men, like going up the stairs, following me. I've never had that before, but we've had a lot of relatives pass away recently, and I don't know if it was one of them or if it was one of the people that lives in the basement. Or for all I know, it could have been one of my guardian spirit or somebody. I don't know. But I've had a few relatives that have passed on that like to mess with my hair when I cook. They mess with my hair when I'm out on the swing. I had somebody hug me once. I was outside and I felt this weird cold all of a sudden, and then I felt this really heavy pressure on my back. Like almost like somebody was pushing me, but they weren't pushing me, because I've been pushed off the swing before, so I know what that is. All I know is that I have a relative that messes with my hair. I have a relative that hugs me. And my biggest thing is I do not like to be touched, and I do not like my hair being touched. So it's funny that they specifically grab my hair and hug me. And actually, the spirit of the firefighter that I have that follows me around, he can actually make me sick. If he sits next to me for too long, or if I feel his energy for too long, he can make me sick. It's only happened a handful of times, but it's happened enough for me to go, okay, no, you need to back off. And I'm feeling, the way I see it, this is probably his way of saying, and I'm figuring this is probably his way of saying, okay, I'm protecting you from something else. Because usually when he's next to me, there's something else within the vicinity that I can sense, but they're not there yet. And I do not know why, but my grandparents' house is the most active I've ever been in. Spirits that live there, spirits on the property. There are 4 people that are dead, that are across the street, that will charge at me. There's a guy in the house, well, it's down the road and across the street. That house is haunted. It's only one guy. I do not think he's actually evil. I think he's angry. But I do not like his spirit. I do not like the energy he gives off. But there are more spirits at my grandparents' house than there is anywhere else I've ever been. Everybody who goes into that house will tell you there are spirits in that house. I don't know. And I've had more spirits appear to me there than anywhere else. I've actually had a few random spirits. I've seen them once and never seen them again. And when I've seen them, they've been at that house. And each of the spirits I've seen, they have their own little aura about them. And I do know ways to get rid of them if I don't like them. And most of the time, if you tell them you don't want them there, they will go away. The ones that come off as evil or angry in any way, I do not deal with. I just don't like that. And anybody who's going to say, why don't you have the house cleansed? No. I feel that the people in the basement are protecting me in some way or another from the other spirits that are there that I have felt that are evil. Because I think in order to have a good one, you have to have a bad one, and vice versa. And while I do not want to deal, I do not like the people in the basement because they're creepy. I'd rather deal with the people in the basement than I would the spirits that are probably evil. And my camera is flashing, so it's about to die. So that's going to be it for this video. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. And other than that, I hope you liked this video. So if you did, give it a thumbs up. And other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.